Good morning. I would like to touch base on a recent problem arising in our country. The executive order to criminalize, or supposedly, homelessness. Coffee. The executive order and its implications. Let's start with the facts. Executive order in question proposes sweeping federal enforcement against homelessness, framing it as a public safety issue. It doesn't offer new housing solutions, mental health support, or economic relief. Instead, it leans on punitive measures, arrests, forced removals, and federal patriots in urban areas. Patrols. Sounds like martial law, don't it? Let's see here. This isn't just policy, it's a paradigm shift. It reframes poverty as criminal behavior. And that's where the legal and ethical alarm bell rings. Legal analysis. Civil liberties. From a constitutional standpoint, this raises serious questions. Are we violating the Eighth Amendment's protection against cruel and unusual punishment? Are we infringing on due process by targeting individuals based solely on their housing status? Well, my quick opinion, I could be wrong, but I believe one of the main reasons that this is going on now is that's part of the process to remove the illegal immigrants. My opinion. I mean, that's and the American citizens is the collateral damage. But that's one man's opinion, from what I see, anyhow. All right, let's see here. The Eighth Amendment. Let's see. It protects against imposing excessive bail, excessive fines, or cruel and unusual punishment. This amendment was adopted December 15th, 1791, along with the rest of the United States Bill of Rights. The amendment serves as a limitation upon the state or federal government to impose unduly harsh penalties on criminal defendants before and after conviction. This limitation applies equal to the price for obtaining pretrial release and the punishment for crime after conviction. The phrases in the amendment originated in the English Bill of Rights, 1689. That's where they got most of the U.S. laws. Public reaction and systemic context. A lot of backlash. It's been swift, fierce. Advocates, city leaders, and everyday citizens are calling this a moral failure, and rightly so. Criminalizing homelessness doesn't solve the housing crisis, it hides it. It says here, yep, it hides it. So, enough of my mouth. We'll go ahead and watch this video here. I believe this video is a couple weeks old. Let's dive right into it.
Heard about the new executive order that targets homelessness here in America?
It's time to speak up. Donald Trump has signed an executive order today that will have the effect of taking homeless people off the streets and sending them to be locked up for we don't know how long. The executive order directs the Department of Justice to do sweeps of homeless people. They're trying to end vagrancy. And it says that these people are to be taken to civil commitment facilities, mental health facilities, psychiatric facilities. Oh, but here's the thing. If there are no beds available, then the
Psychiatric
people can be
facilities.
taken to jail or detention centers. Here's the thing. There are no beds. First of all, it'd be bad enough. We are saying that if you're homeless, you must have a mental illness and you need to be locked up. That's horrific in and of itself. But then the second part, or they can be taken to jail if there are no beds. There are no beds. I have done criminal law for almost 30 years, and there are no beds. At least in Texas, there aren't, because I have clients right now who have been charged with offenses and are sitting in jail and have been found incompetent to stand trial. When that happens, they have to go to a mental health facility to become competent, and then they're sent back to stand trial. There are no beds. I have had clients wait months and years. I've had a man wait 832 days in jail, incompetent, because there wasn't a bed available yet
if
to
that's
send
the
him to become
truth,
competent.
then
There are no beds.
that's complete
There are
failure.
no beds in Texas because I have people waiting
That's
in the
everywhere.
county jail right now for an available bed.
Programs
So
failing.
what does that mean? That means that everybody, at least in Texas,
Understaffed
who
and
gets rounded up
underfunded.
will have to go to a jail or a detention center. But what is the method by which they are released? Because the order sure doesn't tell us. It doesn't tell us how these people then get out. How? If they get a home, how are they going to get a home when they're in jail? This, in essence, is going to make homelessness a crime where people get held
That
indefinitely.
gets me too.
Go look at it.
Just a quick. How are you going to get a home if you're in jail? Just like how are you going to pay your child support if you're in jail? I just thought I'd throw that in there.
On the government website, you can go read the executive order for yourself.
Before Omega XL, I lived with a lot of pain.
And that's why I created
There's
Omega XL.
couple
Pain
other
is
people
manageable. It's
speak
controllable.
on it after her.
This is authoritarianism. Full stop.
Well, here we go. Okay, so in the U.S. currently, folks, there are approximately 771,000 people who are considered as homeless. Either they consider themselves as homeless, or the state has put them into a bracket which says they do not have permanent housing. Today, Donald Trump signed an executive order that makes homelessness illegal in the United States. And those 771,000 people I just mentioned have just become criminals.
Define home.
Folks, the source of this is ABC News.
Is it a
Guess where's every day.
Okay, so let me get this straight.
hang on.
We're making
Define home. Is it a house or a trailer on blocks? Campers. Here's where the technical part of the law would come into full swing. Define home. Physical structure. That's here. Let's finish listening to it.
homelessness, drug addiction, mental illness illegal, and committing people, but we don't have any institutions really anymore. We shut most of those down. Most of the beds in rehab facilities and mental health facilities are pretty full. There's not space for all those people.
Yeah,
But you know what they do know how to
build
do now is
accordingly,
create camps really cheaply
according to the
with
need.
super inhumane conditions, and say they cost way more, so they get to disappear millions of dollars. And maybe some people just disappear.
And like I said before, they're sending billions of dollars to other countries to study frogs and adults and their reaction to watching cartoons. It's imagine.
Disappear. No one's gonna miss homeless drug addicts. They're already
Yeah,
basically
that's
disappeared.
they're
Their
somebody.
families won't even notice. They'll just assume they
There's
OD'd or something.
somebody's
And if they're
father,
forcibly
mother,
institutionalized, then they don't have rights anymore.
you know, son,
They can't even take
brother,
us to
sister.
court.
There's
They're gonna like
somebody.
having their cleaner streets. No one's gonna miss them anyway.
No,
Oh
they'll
man,
be
and if we
missed
wanted to
by
entrap
somebody.
someone, it's not that hard to make them a homeless drug addict and then just kidnap them off the street. And everyone will think they just had some mental health break and got on drugs.
Trump just signed a truly terrifying executive order to bring back forced institutionalization. Yep, you heard that right. It's truly terrifying and no one is talking about it. I'm Eliza
It
Warren,
has to be
career
for the
public defender
migrants.
for 15 years
You
in
know,
Manhattan, and we have to
it's
talk
and
about
the
the
collateral
executive order that
damage
they're calling Ending
is
Crime and
obvious.
Disorder on America's Streets.
My
This
opinion.
order specifically targets unhoused people, people with mental illnesses, and people who use
Yeah,
drugs.
well,
It
people
calls the
like that
hundreds
need
of
help.
thousands of people experiencing
They don't
homelessness
get
on
the
a single
help. They're never
night
gonna get better.
endemic vagrancy, and frames them as threats to public safety. Trump is using fear to justify locking them away under what he calls civil commitment, aka forced confinement. Here's what the order actually does. First, it directs the Attorney General to overturn federal and state court decisions that protect people from involuntary confinement, essentially gutting due process rights that took decades to secure. Second, it ends housing first policies that have actually worked to reduce homelessness. Instead, it forces people to accept treatment whether they want it or not as a condition of receiving federal housing aid. Third, it prioritizes
Well, I've got
federal
a problem
grants
with forcing
for
someone
states that enforce
like that.
bans
They
on
have to
urban
want to help
camping,
themselves.
loitering, and
You're just
squatting,
making it worse if
aka
you make them do it.
criminalizing the simple act of existing
That just
without
adds
a
to the
shelter.
mental
Fourth,
health.
it expands civil commitment to anyone deemed a danger to themselves or others, or who cannot care for themselves. Language so vague it could quite literally apply to anyone experiencing a crisis. This is not about safety or compassion. The order literally says the goal is to protect public safety by removing people from public view. This is about control, criminalization, and disappearing poverty, not solving it. This is mass incarceration 2.0, only now it's dressed up in fake compassion and medical language. We've seen this before. In the era of massive state hospitals, warehousing, and forced sterilization, and we know how this ends. As a career public defender, I've seen what happens when governments use the courts to cage, confine, and criminalize instead of care.
So it's no surprise
Yeah, care.
homelessness
There's
is a
no
really
care.
huge problem here in the
I
United
see
States.
that daily.
But you have to ask, is this the
My
answer
experiences
to
with
it?
things that's
Is
going on.
having this much power over
Nobody
the
really cares.
people that are
They
in the
don't.
homelessness population the solution? What do you think? Do you think that human rights and civil liberties are at risk here?
Yeah,
When the
they are.
government is able to have this much control, who knows what exactly is going to be happening behind the scenes? You know, once these people are institutionalized, who knows what type of medication they're going to be given? Who knows what's going to be really happening behind closed doors? You really have to ask these types of questions. You have to look at what has happened in history when the governments have been able to gather up people that they don't want in
what's
society for
happened
whatever
before.
said reason, and look what happened after that. So
Yeah.
really study history, look at these types of things. I'm really curious to know what your thoughts are on this. Do you think that this is the solution for homelessness here in America? Do you think that this will really cure the problem? Do you think that the government should have this much power to be able to do these types of things? I'm definitely concerned that this is going to be a problem. I don't think that the government should have this much power and control. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let's have a conversation about it, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Well, it's a fine line.
Welcome to the Klondike.
It's a fine line between a lot of subjects. It's just a different way. In my opinion, it's just collateral damage. I mean, that's complete sweeping of the millions of illegal migrants that are here. I believe that's a tactic, and the collateral damage is the American people, and they do have the right to be worried and mad. But it's like and share this video. Make a comment on it if you would like. Give me your thoughts on the situation. But define home. Is it a house, a trailer with a foundation? Where you have to pay utility bills. Just what is an absolute definition of a home? I mean, I would like your thoughts and feedback, if you will. But I want everybody to have a good day and stay safe and peaceful.